answers from all the ladies. I just received from few ladies, and so I wait for next week, and then we go through the questions of Surah Buruj, inshallah, next week. Just I explained that there was one question that I think it was confusing, that how Allah is neutralizing the obsessors who they do Zol activities. How Allah is neutralizing their activities, because we explained that in Surah Buruj, in second group of ayats of Surah Buruj, Allah wants to neutralize it. It was because that when Allah said that they are destroyed, even exactly the same time they started disturbing and bothering believers, that the destroyment was assigned, and they are destroyed, and they will have severe punishment. But because they want to continue, they deny it. How do we understand it? Because in second group, Allah is emphasizing, and Allah tells prophets that, oh prophet, my definitely their punishment will be severe. And then Allah explains about different attributes of Him, like that He is the most powerful, He is the most known, He can see and watch whatever they do, whatever is happening, and all the attributes like Ghafur, Wadud, and we went through all the attributes. By explaining His attributes, He wants to tell them, to threaten the people like Ashabul Ukhdud, that don't think that these ayahs which I'm saying and I'm promising that you will be destroyed and you will be punished is lie, because Quran is a glorious word of Allah, and it is protected. So whatever it is in it, it's right, and it is haq. That's way Allah wants to convince them that definitely what He said in the ayats, the first group of ayats of Surah Buruj, definitely will happen. So they cannot deny it, because the only way they can continue what they do is that denying it. Maybe they know themselves, but if they say, oh, we accept it, and they believe in it, they have to stop. So that's why that the only way that they can continue what they do is that to deny. For example, if they don't deny, if they believe in it, so they cannot sell their weapons to Saudi to kill people in Yemen, or other different countries which we mentioned. So the only way is to deny it. And Allah wants to, all the second group ayats of Surah Buruj, Allah is trying to neutralize their activities. But how? By explaining to prophets that what they deny is not right, and what is said in the first group of ayats of Surah Buruj is haq, and it definitely will happen because of the attributes Allah has. He's watching whatever is happening. He's the most powerful. He's the most known. And all those attributes. And how can He ignore the activities of these people who they are troubling their believers? Allah is the most powerful, and they are burning those people. They are troubling those people who they believe in Allah. With that sin, the only sin they have got is that they are believers in Allah. No other guilt. And how can Allah ignore it? So this is and another thing I want to explain is that wherever at the start of the sentence, and especially at the beginning of the surah, we have wa, it doesn't mean and. For example, when we say was-sama, it doesn't mean and. It's wa here means Allah is saying, I swear by. For example, wal-fajr, was-shams, was-duha. So all these vowels means I swear by. Allah is saying, I swear by, for example, I swear by Fajr, and all this. When I receive other answers, if I see that there is a mistake or if there is a question, please write it to me, and we will, inshallah, go through the questions next week at the beginning of our class. Another point is that, inshallah, after so today we are going through Surah Tariq. After Surah Tariq, we will have Surah A'la. And after Surah A'la, which we have studied 4 surah after Surah A'la, we will have online exam. Because the only reason I'm doing this is I want to push you to specify time to study it. Because if we go through more and more surahs, then you will never be able to catch up with this. And we don't want just to go through these classes just as lecture. No. Inshallah, if you come step by step with classes, we can learn more Arabic. And so after that, and it will not be that question and answer in front of everyone. Now I give questions. I share some questions. I give you, for example, 1 hour, and then you will send it back to me in 1 hour, inshallah, after Surah A'la, in 2 weeks, after 2 weeks, inshallah. So this way, I know, because I'm like this, if I don't have to, so I can't find time. But if we have to, we will find time. Okay, inshallah, we go through Surah Tariq. And inshallah, you have studied the meaning of Surah Tariq. For next week, please study Surah A'la, if I forget to say, because it's very important if you go through it before we explain. Another point I wanted to explain is that about translations. The translation, even for Farsi translation, I've explained before, and about English translation is the same. That, for example, if you go through one translation, maybe one ayat you can understand the ayat properly. It has got very good translation, but the second another ayat not. No, it doesn't make sense for you. So it's better to go through different translations. For example, at least 3-4 translations. If you have got iQuran application or other applications which it has got, for example, the translation of Shakir, Mohsen Khan, or Muhtasad, something like that. I share it with you, the names. And then and one website I shared in the group. I shared before in the group that you can use that. But when you go through them, you see that because I went through all of them, I can see that, for example, on the website which I shared, some of the words doesn't make sense. Because it's not, we can't say it's wrong, but because in Arabic, different words has got different meanings. And then we want to apply the most, the meaning which is the closest meaning to the word in our surah. Because, for example, we said that in different surahs, one word can have different meanings. And what they have done in Tadabbur, they have optimized it. They have gone through, for example, the translation of a word, the roots of a word according to Arabic. They have done research, lots of research, and they have chosen the best meaning. Like, for example, Buruj, that in all translation it becomes as stars. But stars doesn't mean, according to the whole surah, doesn't make sense. As I said, that the best meaning for it is watching tower. Or, for example, in Surah Tariq, we will see that, for example, Tariq and Saqib and all these words. So what we explain in our class, according to Tadabbur, is the meaning that Tadabbur group, they have done lots of research over the word, and they have chosen the best, the most related meanings to the surah. So that's why I'm saying, if you use, for example, one translation, and if you want to just study one translation, maybe you will be confused. Even if you study different translation, maybe you will be confused, but at least it's better. You see different meanings of the word, and so just try to use 2-3 translations parallel together. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Please open Surah Tariq. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والسماء والطارق وما أدراك ما الطارق النجم الثاقب إن كل نفس لما عليها حافظ فلينظر الإنسان مما خلق من ماء دافق يخرج من بين الصلب والترائب إنه على رجعه لقادر يوم تبلى السرائر فما له من قوة ولا ناصر والسماء ذات الرجع والأرض ذات الصدع إنه لقول فصل وما هو بالحزن إنهم يكيدون كيدا وأكيد كيدا فمهل الكافرين أمهلهم رويدا صدق الله العلي العظيم. والسماء والطارق. We said that when we have waw at the start, it means swear. I swear, Allah is saying, I swear by the sky. For example, in translation, if you see some of the translations say sama as heaven, but the heaven as the means of paradise, it doesn't mean that. Sama, I explained what sama means in Quran, according to Quran literature, and if we go through different surahs of Quran, what sama means, which we explained in Surah Buruj as well. والسماء والطارق. In these surahs from Inshiqaq to Nas, most of the surahs, they have got Allah is using lots of making qasam and swear by different things in different surahs. Just a second, just a few seconds I come.
Sister, I can't hear you.
But no, I said a few seconds because I'm right now. I had muted my microphone. Yes, sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, it's good that let me know because sometimes maybe internet is breaking. So what does Wassama mean? That we said in Surah Buruj, and in fact in Surah Mu'minun, ayat 17. You know what? Again, I explained that whatever we explain in our class about tadabbur, even if we said that it's according to the appearance of the ayat itself. Sometimes, if you see that, for example, I explain something which is not exactly part of that surah, be sure that there is another ayat in the Quran that explains that. So we don't use any rawayat, and because we said that we are going through the first level of understanding of Quran. So when we say that sama means in Surah Buruj, we said sama means way, path. According to Quran literature, sama, which is the sky, all the sky means pathway. How do we say that in different surahs? If we bring different surahs together, which we don't want to go through it now. But for example, in Surah Mu'minun, ayat 17, Allah is saying, وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا فَوْقَكُمْ سَبْعَ طَرَائِقَ. Allah is saying, I created on top of you, over your head, means sky, sab'a tara'iq. Sab means 7. Tara'iq, again, is the plural of tariq. Tara'iq. So it means that tariq in sama in Quran literature mainly is tariq. Tariq is path, is way, or a road, or a way. We explain in Surah Buruj that is the way that connects this world, this material world, to the non-material world. And we say alam mulk to alam malakut. It connects alam mulk. Alam mulk means the material world. Malakut means non-material world, which we cannot see. So sky, and that's why Allah is saying, I created 7 skies, sab'a tara'iq, 7 tariq, 7 ways. And we explained again in Surah Buruj that these are not physical. For example, this of the sky, we can see now on top of the earth, over our head, we can see with all the planets, stars, and whatever in it, and we can see, and mankind has reached there. It's just the first sky. Second sky, third sky, fourth, nobody has reached there. because Allah is saying that I'm protecting them. For example, in Surah Jinn, Allah is saying anybody or any devil or anything wants to penetrate the second sky, I protect it. It is clearly said in Quran that Allah is protecting the second sky. So whatever we can see is first sky. And it's not like that we say that from first sky, which we can see if, for example, we travel 1,000 kilometers, we reach second sky, another 500. No, it's not physical distances. Maybe it's all together. Just we said that it's the nature, it's the, we say, for example, not physical inside. For example, levels, we can say levels. For example, we say Quran has got different levels of understanding. Sky has, seven sky means the same thing, not physical distance. So don't imagine physical distances between sky. And now we don't want to explain more than that. Just I wanted to tell you that wasama, when Allah is making surah by the sky, means way, path. And then what tariq, we said tariq means way again. Tariq is in Arabic when they want to, for example, we say do, yeah, action, doing something. Do is verb. When we want to say somebody who does that, we say doer. So tariq is the doer of moving in tariq, is the comer or is who walks in the way. Tariq is that. Then why do we use tariq with another point? I bring an example. For example, imagine there is no you in the mountain. Maybe if you're in Pakistan, I haven't seen in England something like that because I haven't been in villages or mountains or somewhere. But for example, I've experienced it in Iran. When you go to a mountain or somewhere which there is no way, but there is a way or path which people has gone through it many times. For example, there is a river somewhere, and then there is a road. They park their car, they walk through, for example, soil and these things to reach the river. The path they go through, because many times they have gone through it, it has become a road. One way has been made. How? By knocking the soil, because they have walked on it. For example, if you look around it, you can see exactly this is the way you can go and reach the water, the river, or this is the way you can climb up the mountains, because many people, they have climbed up through the same way. So the soil of the mountain or the soil of the earth has been knocked, has been a way or a road has been made naturally. Or when they want to make a road, what they do, they knock the soil to make the road. Tariq, another meaning for tariq is that is knocker. So these are all related together. I want you the reason I'm explaining is that I want you to understand the root of the meaning, that it makes sense. So Allah is saying, I swear by the sky or by the way, what tariq, and I swear by the knocker, comer through this way. I don't use any English translation because in English translation, which I went to, it says, for example, comer by night or comer by, and it doesn't make that much sense. So, what is this? What is wasama and what tariq? Then ayat 2, okay? Allah, so in ayat 1, because I don't want to confuse you, I explain again. In ayat 1, Allah made qasam and said, I swear by sky, which means road or way. What tariq? So by sky and way, and what tariq and the thing which goes through it, the comer or the thing which goes through the way, tariq, and knock it down. Ayat 2 is saying, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الطَّارِقُ. Allah is questioning that what makes you understand what is tariq. This kind of question, again, it's it's a normal, it's a common, I don't want to say normal, it's a common literature in Quran that when Allah wants to say something is very important or emphasize something, Allah brings like this. For example, in Surah Qadr, إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ فِي لَيْلَةِ الْقَدْرِ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ. You see exactly وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الطَّارِقُ. When Allah wants to say that Laylatul Qadr is very important and emphasize on it, says وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ. Here is same literature, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الطَّارِقُ. And we have got this literature in different ayats in Quran. So by ayat 2, Allah is emphasizing on the meaning of Tariq. Okay, what is Tariq? Allah is answering it in ayat number 3. An-Najmu Saqib. Because it was a question in our mind now that what is Tariq? Allah is saying it is An-Najmu Saqib. Okay, what is An-Najmu Saqib? Again, Najm means star and all this, but the best meaning for An-Najmu Saqib, because Saqib means piercing and penetrating. Something which penetrates. For example, light which penetrates, for example, through the window, through the glasses. An-Najmu Saqib means those kind of stars or those kind of mass which can penetrate, and it is piercing, which again, according to the research of through the meanings of An-Najmu Saqib, the best meaning for it is piercing falling star. We say Shahab Asamani, I don't know what you call it in Urdu. The falling stars, and then piercing and penetrating falling star. So An-Najmu Saqib is that. Okay, now what is Najmu Saqib? Again, in Surah Jinn, we have that when Jinniyan, they wanted to attack him, or they wanted to go through second sky and find out what is going on in non-material world. Allah said that He attacked them by Saqib, An-Najmu Saqib. He attacked them by these falling stars. So falling star is some stars, that those kind of stars or planets or whatever we can say, which attacks the devils or anything who wants to penetrate the sky to find out what is going on. Allah is attacking them. So when Allah is saying, I swear by the sky, why Allah is saying I swear by the sky? Because the sky is the way which connects material world to non-material world. And then what Tariq means is An-Najmu Saqib, and Allah swears by An-Najmu Saqib, this falling, piercing and penetrating falling stars. Don't worry if I know that there is question in your mind that what does it mean? Why Allah is making qasam by this? By following ayats, we will understand. Don't worry about it. Ayat number 4 is in kullu nafsin lamma alayha hafiz. There is no soul but has a protector over it. Allah is saying that this is, we explained before that, even in normal common talking and conversation, when you make qasam by something, for example, you say that I swear by God or something like that, I swear by that, you want to say something after it, so when audience hears you making qasam, he or she is waiting for your sentence after it. Qasam on its own doesn't mean anything. So whenever qasam comes or swearing comes, it means that there is something or there is a sentence or comment after it. So Allah is saying, which we call it in Arabic and in Quran, we say answer al qasam. So in ayat number 1 to ayat number 3, Allah made qasam by sky, by the way, and Tariq, which is An-Najmu Saqib. Allah made qasam by this. To say what? To say that in kullu nafsin lamma alayha hafiz. To say that there is no soul. So Allah is saying, I swear by Sama, I swear by Tariq, which is Najm Saqib, that there is no soul but has a protector over it. Another point for Qasam. In normal conversation, we as normal people, when we make Qasam, there is no relationship between the Qasam we make and what we want to say before after that. It's just emphasizing. For example, we say that I don't want to use I swear by God too much, but now it doesn't. Nothing else comes by. For example, I swear by. I use I swear by God, but you don't take it seriously because it's not advised to make this qasam I swear by it. Because I'm just explaining as an example. For example, we say that I swear by God that I will not go, for example, to that place. There is no relationship between we make qasam on and the comments we bring after qasam. What qasam which Allah makes in Quran, which we saw in Surah Buruj as well, there is always relationship between qasam and the comments after qasam, the answers after of qasam. Now we want to go through it and explain that what's the relation between qasam and making swear by Sama and Tariq, which is Najm Saqib, and ayat number 4. What's the rule of Najm Saqib, which I explained? What was the rule of Najm Saqib? Protecting the way, the sky, the way, which way? Protecting the way which connects this material world to non-material world. We say protecting the sky. From what? From attacking the devils, for example, or whatever wants to interfere Allah's rules and whatever wants to penetrate the non-material world to see what's going on, which Allah doesn't want to allow that. And Allah protects it with Najm Saqib, with piercing and penetrating falling stars. Allah protects it, which we said that is, for example, in ayat of Surah Jan, Allah is explaining. It is clearly explained. And then when it comes to the ayat in kullu nafsin lamma alayha hafiz, you see the word of hafiz again, protecting. What is Allah protecting? In kullu nafs. Nafs means soul. So if when we go through the following ayats of Surah Tariq, we see that the audience of the surah are those kind of persons who they don't believe in ma'ad, resurrection. They don't believe that we go back after death. One day, for example, on the day of Qiyamah, everybody comes alive, and they will be calculated. And all the amals they have done will be calculated, and all those. So they want to say that it's not possible that this soul becomes alive again, and our bodies becomes alive and joined together, and on the day of Qiyamah, again, all the persons, they come alive. They want to deny it. So the audience, they are those kind of persons that they deny it. Allah is saying that there is no soul but has a protector over it. So if all the nafs means the soul and our soul, all the soul of all the persons will be protected and will be saved with no exception. We can't say that, okay, some souls will be destroyed. No. There is no soul, because Allah says in kullu nafs, kullu means all of them, not even one will be missed. Lamma alayha hafiz, will be protected. And then now you can understand what's the relation between the first 3 ayats and this ayat. Allah is saying that when I can protect the sky, and the non-material world and the way of material world connection, way of material world, non-material world. Like when I can protect it easily now. So how do you think that it's not possible that I protect all the souls? Because the only way which we can go, which people, the people who they deny Ma'at, they deny resurrection, they deny the day of Qiyamah, they say that it's not possible that these, for example, same people with same behavior, with same beliefs and with same soul, they come alive. Even the body, it is said that even the body will be the same body which will be collected. Not, no matter of they will be burned while they want to bury it, where they are buried, no matter of whatever they do, it can come alive again. So Allah is saying when by protecting this, by making sure to sky and protecting the sky as the way of connection between material and non-material world and all this with Najm al-Saqib, which with penetrating and piercing falling star, when Allah can protect that, so it's not impossible for him or it's not difficult for him to protect the souls of people. Then when Allah is saying up to here that definitely he will save the souls, another question comes in that okay, the souls are protected, but what about bodies? What about dress? What about the material body we have? Because soul is non-material. Okay, we say we accept it. Okay, Allah, we accepted by what you say. But again, those people, disbelievers, they want to bring another excuse that they say, okay, what about our bodies, which it is going to be roasted and nothing will be left. In ayat 5, Allah is saying, فَلْيَنْظُرِ الْإِنسَانُ مِمَّا خُلِقَ. Allah is ordering that insan. فَلْيَنْظُرْ, again, when lam comes, we say yanzuru, if we know Arabic, it's the present tense verb. It's the present tense of the verb of nazar. And when lam comes at the start, it's not la, which was for emphasizing. That is, this lam is different. That's why we say that the Arabic language is the most perfect language. This lam is not la. It's falyanzur. When this law comes at the start of it, it makes it as it must. It means insan or mankind should look or should consider. Mankind should notice or should consider from what he is created. Mimma, from what? Khuliqa. Again, khuliqa, khalq means creating. Khuliqa is created. Again, this is different ways of making the verbs in different shapes, which I don't want to explain it now because it will be confusing for you. The general meaning of فَلْيَنْظُرِ الْإِنسَانُ مِمَّا خُلِقَ, Allah is saying mankind should notice and should consider from what he is created. And then in ayat 6 and 7, خُلِقَ مِنْ مَاءٍ دَافِقٍ يَخْرُجُ مِنْ بَيْنِ الصُّلْبِ وَالتَّرَائِبِ. Allah is explaining about physical creation of mankind, that he's created from, for example, seminal fluid, and which is an ejected fluid, and proceeding from between the backbone and the ribs. So ayat 6 and 7 is explaining about the process of or the origin of creation of mankind. That he wants to tell us that you have been created from something which is not even if you think about it, it's not valuable to think about it. You don't even notice it. You don't even consider it. But you have been created from that. So, إِنَّهُ, ayat 8, إِنَّهُ عَلَى رَجْعِهِ لَقَادِرٌ. Verily, Allah is able to bring him back to life. How? When he is able to create you with this much capability now. How much capability we have got now? We can think, physically and mentally, how much capability we have. Or imagine a baby, newborn baby, when he or she grows up to becomes an adult, how much capabilities physically and mentally. When Allah is able to create you from, for example, little bit water, and now you're like this. Now, now, how can you deny that he cannot bring you back to life? So إنه على رجعه لقادر, that surely he is able to return you and to bring you back. This ayah number 8, إنه على رجعه لقادر, is very important. Even they say that it is advised that when you have got, for example, you've lost something, or not losing as physical, when you are, now it came to my mind now that they are advising that if, for example, there is a problem, and you can recite this as much as you can. إِنَّهُ عَلَى رَجْعِهِ لَقَادِرٌ, that Allah is capable of bringing that back, of solving your problem. So you can use this ayat for that as well. But I don't remember what is the source of it. It came to my mind. I don't know what's the, for example, documentary behind it. I don't remember it until I search about it and I let you know. So إنه على رجعه لقادر is so ayat number 1 to number 8. What Allah explained, Allah emphasized that he is able, he is capable of protecting all the souls of people, mankind, and bringing back the body as well. So nobody can deny the day of Qiyamah that, oh, how is it possible? Allah gave us 2 examples. There is one point about Surah Tariq, and for example, generally in Quran, wherever Allah is talking about Ma'ad, he has got 3 ways. Sometimes he just emphasize that Ma'ad is reality and it will happen. So some of the ayats of Quran, some of the surahs of Quran are just emphasizing on Ma'ad by informing it. In some ayats, Allah brings some examples, historical examples, that, for example, about different group of people, that this happened to them, this happens to you as well, and all this. So he wants to give us historical examples that be careful that this happened to this or disbelievers, it can happen to you as well. But in some surahs, Allah gives emphasis on Ma'ad and brings rational arguments, gives reasonable reasons, which we can think about it. Surah Tariq is one of those surahs that even it's not just Allah says that it will happen, definitely it will happen. No, he gives examples of human creation. So whoever who thinks wisely, he can say that yes, it is right, that how I was created from nothing, now Allah who created me from nothing can easily bring me back, and how he is protecting sky and Tariq, which is Najm al-Thaqib, or Allah can protect this world, and the sky, and with all whatever it is in it, can protect it. So it's not difficult for him to protect my soul and bring it back with my body. So Allah is giving reasonable reasons as well, wise reasons as well. So ayat 1 to 8, it was first group ayats of Surah Tariq. Then ayat number 9, Allah is saying, يَوْمَ تُبْلَى السَّرَائِرُ. Yawma means the day. Tubla, the root is balawa. Again, there is another point here. Balawa, what does balawa mean? According to Arabic language, balawa means testing or examining or revealing. Revealing something is hidden, some secrets. For example, in many ayats of Quran, we have ibtala or mabtalahu in Surah Fajr, for example. Whatever happens is to examine you. But in this surah, on this ayat, according to the meaning of the whole surah, yawma tubla sarair, which is related to the day of Qiyamah, it doesn't mean examining, it's testing, because day of Qiyamah is not for examining. The exams are finished, will be finished by the day of Qiyamah. That day is the day which everything is sarair means the plural of sir, and sir means secrets. The day of Qiyamah is the day that all secrets and hidden things will be revealed, will be cleared. For example, we say there is calculation, we will be calculated for whatever we do. There will be, for example, health, paradise. Now we just say it, but on the day of Qiyamah we can see them. So everything which is secrets, that day will be clear and will be revealed. So on the day when all secrets will be revealed. So it is saying that إِنَّهُ عَلَى رَجْعِهِ لَقَادِرٌ. Allah is able to bring him back to life. When everything comes back to life? On the day of Qiyamah. What's the day of Qiyamah? يَوْمَ تُبْلَى السَّرَائِرُ. On the day when all secrets will be revealed. So if, for example, in exam we ask that what does tubla sarair mean, don't write examine, yet the day exam, because I've seen many of the translation, it says examine. It doesn't mean examine on this surah. Tubla in Arabic has got the meaning of examining, testing, but on this surah the best meaning is revealing, or whatever is hidden will be clear, will not be secret anymore. Ayat number 10, فَمَا لَهُ مِنْ قُوَّةٍ وَلَا نَاصِرٍ. And on that day, mankind will have neither strength nor helper. There will be no strength or help for the mankind to defend himself, unless whatever he has done, he has taken it with him from this world. So he cannot, for example, say that, oh, the money I had will protect me, or that this many children I had, they protect me, or this power I had, this position in the world I had. Nothing. There is no min quwwatin wala nasir. Fama lahu. When ma here makes it negative. Wala nasir, la again makes it negative. These ma, la, and these things they make negative in Arabic. I try to mention some Arabic points, so step by step when we go, it stays in your mind. So when you see even these words or these phrases in other surahs, which we haven't studied yet, it makes sense for you. So what from ayat 1 to ayat 8? I give you a few seconds. Tell me, there was 2 key ayats from ayat 1 to ayat 8. Can you say which ayats? What are the key ayats? Those 2 key ayats from ayat number 1 to 8. What was the key ayats? 2 ayats we had from ayat number 1 to 8. There are 2 ayats which are the key ayats. What are those ayats? So it's good for you to revise it in your mind as well.
Is it number 4?
Number 4, yeah. I'm also saying number 4.
Yeah, right. Correct. And ayat?
And is it the 8th one?
Yeah, that's right. Well done. So ayats 4 and 8, those are key ayats. Because from ayat 1 to 3, Allah made qasam. Ayat 4 was that Allah said that there definitely for every soul there is a protector. And then Ayat 5 to Ayat 7, Allah explained about the creation of the mankind. And Ayat 8 said, إِنَّهُ عَلَى رَجْعِهِ لَقَادِرٌ. Surely he is able to return everything. So these are the two key ayats of the first group ayat of Surah Talaq. In ayat 11, the second group are ayat 11 to ayat 17. After Allah brings these examples and emphasize on protecting the soul and the body of mankind, still these believers, they question Allah, and they want to play trick on Allah, that no, it's not right. They want to deny it. How can we say? Because in ayat 15 to 17, Allah is saying himself. We will go through it, okay? So, ayat 15 to 17 will show us that still, after all these proofs and all these evidence, and these believers still they deny it and they play tricks and they want to deny and not to believe the resurrection and Ma'ad. So Allah has to has to emphasize it. So in ayat 11 and 12, again Allah is making qasam. وَالسَّمَاءِ ذَاتِ الرَّجْعِ. وَالسَّمَاء, again وَالسَّمَاء. وَالسَّمَاءِ ذَاتِ الرَّجْعِ وَالْأَرْضِ ذَاتِ الصَّدْعِ. Allah is saying that I swear by the sky, having rain clouds which gives rain again and again. And I swear by the earth which splits with the growth of trees and plants. وَالسَّمَاءِ ذَاتِ الرَّجْعِ. Raj means what Raj means. In number 8, ayat number 8, we said, إِنَّهُ عَلَى رَجْعِهِ لَقَادِرٌ. Raj means return. And Allah is saying, وَالسَّمَاءِ ذَاتِ الرَّجْعِ. Again, Zat, we have, you will see it in different ayats of one. When we say Zat, it means that it has it. That its nature is like it's that. So, for example, we say Zat Raj means that sky has got this inside its nature. The nature of the sky is that is returning. How? What's the nature of the sky? What the first thing comes to our mind is that, for example, when water evaporates and it goes to sky, it becomes clouds, and again this water comes back to the earth in the shape of rain. So if we say وَالسَّمَاءِ ذَاتِ الرَّجْعِ, that's why I chose this meaning, that, or not me, Tadabbur, is that they have chosen that I swear by the sky having rain clouds which gives rain again and again. And وَالْأَرْضِ ذَاتِ الصَّدْعِ, and the earth which splits with the growth of trees and plants. Sad, again, the nature of earth, what is it? It receives the water of rain, and then seeds, they break down the gap they break the gap in the earth, in the soil, they come out and they grow up. So that's why we say Al-Arz Zat al-Sada. After these qasams, Allah, again, we said that when we hear qasam, we wait for a comment after that. We wait for something, for a sentence which explains the answer of qasam, what Allah wants to say. إِنَّهُ لَقَوْلٌ فَصْلٌ. Verily, in laqawl, qawl means Quran. This Quran is the word that all qawlan fast. What does fast means? Fast in again Arab in Quran literature means that is something which separates the truth from falsehood. For example, even in Iran, it's common. Maybe it's, for example, easier for me to understand because they say that whatever Ayatollah Khamenei is saying, I'm bringing as an example, whatever Ayatollah Khamenei is saying is Faslul Khitab for us. Faslul Khitab means, for example, something happens which is confusing for us. Then when he gives a speech about it, we can say what is truth, and we can separate the truth from false. His speech. So we say it is Faslul Khitab, but his speech is Faslul Khitab. So fast innahu laqawlun fast means Quran is the word that separates the truth from false. وما هو بالحزن. Hazl means something as fun, something as joke, something as just amusement. So we say ma huwa. Again, ma. I said that ma makes it negative. Ma has got another meaning which is not negative. What is now we are going through this surah is that, remember, one of the meanings of ma is making negative. So ma huwa bilhaz, huwa is that. So it is, or it is not a thing for fun. It means Quran is the word that qawl fast separates the truth from the false, and it's not just for a joke. It's not for amusement. Allah didn't send the book of Quran with that many ayat to us just for fun or just for amusement or just or na'uzubillah as a joke. No. So why disbelievers? Okay, before I explain this, we go to ayat 15. Let's explain another thing. What we need to explain now in Qasam, or whenever we come to Qasam, we come to ayats of Qasam in Quran, two things we explain. One thing is that what is Qasam and what is the answer of Qasam. Yeah, that is one explanation. Already we have experienced it in different surahs which we have gone to. Surah Fajr before our class and Surah Buruj last week. We explained, and at the start of this surah of Tala. So two things. One, that what is Qasam, we explained that what Allah is making swear by, what's the nature of it, and all this, and what's the answer of Qasam, and another thing. Who can say what's another explanation? Which I need to explain it now to you. When we come to ayats of Qasam, okay, one explanation, what was that I explained that what is wasama is zat raj and wasama and wal arzat, and then the answer of Qasam innahu laqawlun fast wa huwa bil has. We said that in common conversation between us, when we make Qasam, there is no relationship between Qasam and what the comment we bring after Qasam. But when Allah makes Qasam, always there is relationship between these two. There is a proportion between Qasam and answer of Qasam. That's why, for example, we said that what was the relation between Wasama wa Taliq and Najm al-Saqir and in Kullu Nafsin Lama Alayha Hafiz. The relationship was that and Najm al-Saqir, Allah is saying that He's protecting the sky and the way with Najm al-Saqir. So, and the same way, when He protects the sky by Najm al-Saqir, He can, it is not impossible, or it is so easier for Him to protect nafs and soul of the human. So there was that relation. Now let's see what's the relationship between these Qasam here. We said that the nature of sky, and another, we explained that sky is the way connects this world, material world, to the other, to non-material world. That was one of the nature, one of the attributes of sky. But the nature of sky, physically, which we can see, we can sense every day or all through our life, is that when water evaporates, the sky becomes cloud, and this water comes back as the shape of rain. By this example, Allah wants to say when anybody dies, that's why we say that when, so for example, it's common for us, it's a common sense that we feel that when somebody dies, the soul has gone to sky. I don't know if you have felt it or not. When somebody leaves this world and dies, naturally we feel that, or even if we want to say, we want to tell our kids, we say, oh, he went, for example, to sky, or he went to Allah. I don't know if you have sensed it or not. So it's a common sense that when somebody dies, the soul goes to sky. It's like, imagine that the water evaporates, goes to sky, and it's as the shape of rain, it comes back. So Allah, by bringing this example, Allah wants to say that the soul, which has been separated from body, has gone to sky, the non-material world, it comes back on the day of Qiyamah. So that's the relation between this Qasam was Sama Zat al-Raj and the guideline of Surah Tara, which is protecting soul and coming back souls on the day of Qiyamah, bringing back souls to body. And while Arz Zat al same thing happens to body. When, for example, the plant seeds, when the plant seeds, when they receive this water from the sky, they grow up, they come out. When we bury all the bodies, after receiving the soul on the day of Qiyamah, after when the soul comes back from the sky, like imagine like rain, when it comes back, it joins the body which grows up and which come out, which break the gap in the earth and comes out, and they join together again. Same way that when we plant a seed, it receives water, rain from the sky, and it grows. Exactly same, we can imagine it. And there is a riwayat, if we call it just as an example, it's not part of Tadabbur, but there is a riwayat which is said that from Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam, that when it's the time of Qiyamah, for about 40 years, there will be a rain, special rain, that it comes from the sky, and about 40 years we have that rain, and then after that we have the day of Qiyamah. And they said that is special rain, for example. Maybe it's not that, I don't know if it's physical rain, or even if it is, it has got the attribute of Hayy. We say Allah is Hayy, Al-Hayyul Qayyum. Al-Hayy, Hayy means life. It has got that Hayy, it's life. It gives life again to buried people, which again, that's very difficult. I said that we don't want to go through tafsir because it's deep understanding of Quran, and now it's not part of our class. But just as to make sense, or just as an example, I brought it. So this is the relationship between Qasam of Wasam. The reason Allah made Qasam by Sama in the
is
way
it about, sorry, I might interrupt you, but I just got confused. That is it about day of Qiyamah that Allah is doing the Qasam, that normal nature of the sky is giving the rain, and the earth is that giving the plants, while on the day of judgment the sky will be open, like we read in the previous surah as well, that on the day of Qiyamah the sky will open,
no,
and
nothing.
then the earth will empty whatever inside it.
I got your question. No, what because I don't explain anything from myself, because and I just explain whatever I've learned from Tadabbur. They don't bring that in this ayah. They don't say, I know exactly what you say, that the sky will be, and for example, the earth will be split, will be leveled, and throw out everything inside. But about this example, they don't say that. They say that because Zat, it's not about talking about when Zat, the word Zat comes, it is showing the nature of it, not just the day of Qiyamah. For example, in Surah before Buruj, in Surah and Shaqaq, we had the qasam we had there, it was related to the day of Qiyamah. But here, the qasam is making Allah by wasam is not related to the day of Qiyamah because it says Zatir, right? It is about the nature of the sky. So that's not the point of this ayat. Because Allah uses different points of things, for example, sky, qasam, and all.
Okay.
Very
Thank
good
you.
question, Mustafa. Very good question.
Thank you.
So that's why Allah made qasam by this way. وَالسَّمَاءِ ذَاتِ الرَّجْ وَالْأَرْضِ ذَاتِ السَّدْ. And then Allah is saying that definitely إِنَّهُ لَقَوْلٌ فَصْلٌ. Qawl, we said Quran. When it comes the ayat of this surah of Tariq means exactly those ayats of which has been which we have in ayats which we have in Surah Tariq. So it is limit on this ayat innahu laqawlun fast. Yeah, because in different translation maybe you see that the Quran is that, and that is not wrong. Innahu laqawlun fast means the Quran is the word, the separates the truth from false. But when it is specified for Surah Tariq, we talk about it about the ayats of this surah. So when we say innahu laqawlun fast means goes back to the ayat first group of ayats of Surah Tariq, which what was it? And especially the key ayats 4 and 8. In kullu nafsin lamma alayha hafiz innahu ala raj'ihi laqadir. So when Allah is saying that I swear by, for example, the sky with the nature is rain, giving rain again and again, and the earth which is placed with the growth of plants and all this, making qasam, the answer innahu laqawlun fast, it looks like it is the meaning is that definitely the ayats 4 and 8 or the first groups of ayats of Surah Tariq, which mainly the key ayats were ayat 4 and 8, they are laqawlun fast, فما هو بالحس. They are not jokes. When Allah is saying that I protect every soul and I bring back all the bodies, it's not hazl, it's not a joke. Definitely it happens. And then, so why disbelievers, they deny it? Why they take it as a joke? Because if they don't take it as a joke and if they take it seriously, they do not do what they are doing now, or they believe. Why? Allah is saying, إِنَّهُمْ يَكِيدُونَ كَيْدًا. Kaid means trick. Those who refuse to accept it, or devise, for example, devise, I don't know if I pronounce it correctly. Those who refuse to accept it devise many a false argument to disprove its truth. So when somebody play tricks on somebody else, for example, we say kaid. Don't know, we have in Farsi as well. We say mak wakaid. It means to playing trick. I don't know if you have in Urdu or not. So when they do kaid or they do mak or they play trick, or they are another way we say that is they are plotting a plot. I tell you, I have gone through different meanings and I've searched in dictionaries, so I use the words as synonyms, so it makes more sense. They are plotting a plot against you, O Prophet, because Allah is telling Prophet that they are plotting a plot against you. Innahum yakiduna kaida. Definitely they are plotting a plot against you, or they are making a trick just to disprove what is truth. And then Allah is saying, وَأَكِيدُ كَيْدًا. وَأَكِيدُ means I do the same thing. I am planning a plan for them. So, فَمَهِّلِ الْكَافِرِينَ أَمْهِلْهُمْ رُوَيْدًا. So, O Prophet, don't worry, مَهِّلِ الْكَافِرِينَ, grant them, give them opportunity, give them short opportunity, or grant the unbelievers a respite. Let them alone for a while. Ruwaida, Rabada means freedom in choice. For example, give them freedom in choosing what any way they want to choose. And when it becomes as Ruwaida, again, according to Arabic rules, it means a short time, for example. So give them an opportunity of choice, but for a short while. It means that when it becomes Rabada, becomes Ruwaida, means give them, let them alone for a while. Why Allah is it for a while? Because this world is a while. It's just compared with the real life and hereafter life. This world is just few seconds. It's not a long time. We think that we are living in this world for a long time, but compared with real life, it is nothing. It's a short while. So Allah is saying that leave them alone for a while. Live unbelievers. So in Surah Tariq, we had two groups of ayat, and both groups of ayat started by qasam. And these qasams, they were very important. Meaning was they were very important in understanding the guideline of the Surah Tariq. In second groups of ayats, ayats 11 to 14. We had qasam and the answer which emphasized on the word of Allah, of which he explained, he described in first group. So from ayat 11 to 14, it was emphasizing the words of Allah which came on the first groups of ayats, especially ayat 4 and 8. And then ayat 15 to 17 is just informing us about believers that about their trick, their rank, their makr, their kaid. It was just informing and answering them that they don't want to accept it. They denied it, that they are playing just a trick. They are plotting a plot against you. But don't worry, I'm just doing the same on them. How? They will be punished soon. So give them, let them alone, or give them a short opportunity. Don't worry about them. Just leave them alone for a while. So what was the guideline of second groups of ayats 11 to 17? It was it's like that, confronting the deceit of the disbelievers against the word of God, because they want to deny Allah's word. They want to again be stubborn. They don't want to accept it, and Allah is confronting them by these ayats, by bringing another qasam and emphasizing that innahu laqawlun false. What I said in ayat 4 and 8 is definitely truth, and is the word which separates, which shows truth from false, separates truth from false, qawlun fast, and it's not a joke, it's reality. So in Surah Tariq, Allah, at the same time, he warned people. He brought reasons as well, wise reasons. So if we just think wisely, if people think wisely, and if they are not rebellious, they are not disobedient. Some people, we have an example that if somebody is asleep, you can wake him up. You can, for example, shake him and wake him up. But if somebody is pretending to sleep, you can't wake him up because he pretends he's asleep. So this is exactly like that. And Surah Tariq has got enough reasoning for disbelievers. So if they think wise and they are not pretending that they are asleep, yeah. If for example, if they are not stubborn, if they are not rebellious, by this surah is enough. Just these few ayats of Quran is enough to wake them up. Because when they can see the sky, how Allah is protecting it. Even if they don't think about non-material world. Even if just they think about physical attributes of the sky and earth, not even about non-material attributes of it, just physical attributes, it shows clearly that it is possible that we can, everything, all the people, the mankind, come back to life and will be calculated. So what it means is just an open ear, common sense, and fair thought. That's enough to understand that Quran is haq and is not hazl. So just maybe make du'as that, oh Allah, bless us with the familiarity and fondness with Quran. I want you to correct me because I wrote this myself as dua for end of our class. Oh Allah, bless us with the familiarity and fondness with Quran, your strong and convincing word, so that we can always complete our faith with it. And let's close the way to the influence of negligence by that. Oh God, remove the veil of stubbornness and from our hearts, so we won't be resistant and to be able to hear and listen to your truth word and accept it with all our heart and soul, inshallah. Allahumma
إلهي آمين.
وعلى
صلى الله
محمد.
وسلم على محمد وعلى محمد وقد فرجهم.
Okay, I'm ready if there is any question.
Yeah, I have some.
Oh, and any of ladies that want to
minute.
log off, they can, because I don't want to wait. And if they're busy, or don't worry about it, just sign out from the group. Don't worry. Just leave the group if you're busy. Any of ladies. Okay, Sister Feza, I'm listening.
Yeah, the one was that we always say that when there is a start of the ayat with wow, when wow doesn't mean then is and. But in this surah, there is ayat number 14 and 16 are starting with wow as well. So how we can understand that where is qasam and where is and?
It just needs a little bit Arabic knowledge, Sister Feza. Another thing which I can say, that if for example, you read the meanings, you see that for the beginning of surah, it is definitely that wasama, because it's beginning of the surah. There is nothing before that. Yeah, for example, wasama wa tariq, because it's at the beginning and there is nothing before that. So we can clearly say that it's not and, because we just use and when we want to join two things and there is nothing before it. But for ayat, for example, 11, if you notice the meaning of ayat 10, there is no relationship between the meaning of ayat 10 and 11. You know, wav because in normal writing or in normal talking, maybe we use wav and between two sentences which are not related together meaning wise. But in Quran, mainly wav is, according to Arabic rules, we say wav atf when it means wav, and it is atf. Atf is when that these two sentences meaning was related together. Wav in Arabic literature is like that. If we for example, we go forward, maybe I'll explain. Wav atf. Atf means in Arabic grammar that it joins two sentences which the meanings are related together. Ayat number 10 and 11, the meanings are not related together. So to find out what does it mean, does it mean wav? We have got different type of wav, or for example, when we say inna, we have got different type for in and inna, and all are related to Arabic grammar. But at the moment, which for example we don't maybe we don't know Arabic grammar, we don't have much knowledge about Arabic grammar, just learn it like this. There is no relationship between the meaning of ayat 10 and 11. In fact, it is stopped. Ayat 10 is stopped,
Yeah,
and then something else is stopped. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the moment, what you can do, the best thing you can do is that you read the translation, different translations, adopted word by word. Yeah. For example, the best practice for you at the moment, if you don't have Arabic knowledge, grammar knowledge, is that compare the translation word by word and try to find out what does this word mean. The website I shared the link before in the group, which I share again, will help you a lot. For example, it's because it's word by word.
Yeah, sure.
Translation.
Okay.
That's the best.
Okay. Sister, I have a question. You said ayat 1 to 8 is first group, and then you said 11 to 17 is second group. So ayat 9 and 10 will be in first group or second group?
Sorry, I made mistake. 1 to 8 is first group. 9 to 1 to 10. 1 to 10 is first group.
Oh,
that was just my mistake. I made mistake in saying 1 to 10 is first group. 11 to 17 is second group. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Right. Okay.
Because clearly you can say, because I want you, that's the reason I'm saying study. If you study it, then you can say that by the meaning of ayat number 9, you can say it is related to ayat 10. It's ayat 8. Because the meaning إنه على رجعه لقادر يوم تبلى السرائر. So Allah is able to return when يوم تبلى السرائر. If we stop it, if we finish the meaning and laqad, then what does يوم تبلى السرائر means here? Yeah, what does it mean here? So it is related, meaning wise, it is related. And again, فما له من قوة ولا ناصر. Fa shows that this sentence is connected to ayat number 10, is connected to ayat number 9. Yeah, فما له من قوة ولا ناصر. Fa at the start of ayat, it shows that ayat 10 is dependent on ayat 9. And the meaning shows that as well. So we have two evidence that we say that ayat number 10 is related to ayat number 9. One is the meaning, one is fa.
Yeah.
So that's
Thank you,
I
sister.
think that when we go forward, then inshallah we will learn naturally if we study. If we don't, if we just, if for example, we just listen to this the class in the class and then close it, and next week come back. No guarantee. It's just it will be just a lecture. But if you practice at home and study it and then discuss it between yourself again, for example, I said it's very good if you can even discuss it 2 by 2, or even if you think about it yourself and analyze it, then you see that step by step you get the technique, you learn the technique.
Inshallah. Yeah.
The other thing is that sorry, maybe I just crossed somebody's conversation, but you know that when we said qasam from ayat number just give me a second so that I've got in front of me, from 1 to 3 Allah is doing some qasams. So if we count it, how many qasams? Because Tariq, and then Allah's explaining the Tariq as in Najm started.
Can you
so
tell
is it
me
3 qasam or is it 2 qasams then?
You tell me how many qasam. You tell me.
I mean, that's why I'm confused. I'm just thinking it's 2 because Allah's explaining Tariq from 1 to 3. I'm just saying about 1 to 3.
No, Basma wa Tariq is 2 qasams, yeah?
Yeah.
Then Vama adraka matar is Vama adraka. It means and what will make you know what is Tariq. So this is not qasam. I said that we have got this literature in Quran that, for example, in fi Laylat al-Qadr, Vama adraka ma Laylat al-Qadr. So it's not qasam. It's just a question.
Yeah.
So this is not another qasam. Then an-najmu saqib, there is no vav before it.
Yeah.
And it is explained in Tariq. It's an explanation for Tariq. So there are two qasams, was-sama wa Tariq.
For Tariq, yeah. And then again, ayat 11 and 12 is also qasam.
Yeah, two qasams there, was-sama wal ard.
And you know, for the adraka, because we have done the meaning of Surah Qadr in our childhood as well.
Yeah.
And it says for the adraka, what maybe Sister Zarfish, I remember as well, but we learn in Pakistan or wherever we were, that how do you know what is Laylatul Qadr? Adraka mean how do you know? So is that the right meaning for adraka as well, or is it the one?
It's not wrong.
Okay.
In fact, the whole sentence wants to tell you that. How do you know? Yeah. So it is that what will make you know. Wama adraka. So it's not wrong. If you think about it, it has got same meaning. Just the important point is that you notice that Allah wants to emphasize, wants to highlight it. Yeah.
Okay.
For example, when Allah is saying Wama adraka, it means that, and what makes you know it means that it is something highlighting. Wama layla, Wama adraka ma layla. So it is, how do you know? It is right. What makes you know? What makes you know? But the point is that you know that it's a literature in Arabic that it wants to highlight.
Or is it something very difficult for as a human to understand? Adrak, I mean, Allah is saying that you couldn't really reach there. What does it mean?
Yeah, exactly. For example, in different surahs, when now unfortunately, because I don't memorize Quran, if I would memorize it, for example, when Allah is talking about different yawm, different surahs about the yawm of the day of Qiyamah, then Allah is saying, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا for example, at al-qari'ah, something like even وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ al-qari'ah, if I'm not, al-qari'ah, ma al-qari'ah, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْقَارِعَةُ.
Yeah.
All the different surahs we have got this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, sister, for all the questions. Sorry to trouble you.
No, I'm enjoying. I learned with you. Inshallah. Okay, just please, again, don't leave it. Don't make time for yourself, because time never is. Especially we as women have families, lots of things to do. If we don't try to make time for it, make priorities, we will never find time to study. And 1 week quickly goes. It's like it's a click of eyes. And we have to make time if we want to really, inshallah, learn. Otherwise, it will be just lecture, and in few months, you will just remember few points, and it will not be useful that much. Inshallah, definitely try to make time. And mashallah, you, Sister Feza and Sister Zafesha and Sister Asma, and those are who really work and send answers. Sister Ali as well. Yeah, you are working on it. Inshallah, you continue, and all the ladies, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. I think the best way is that we got the answers, the questions, we got the test to do it, and I think that really put us doing the things.
That's the only way I have to push you, otherwise.
No, I think it's a good way of pushing us. I feel like
yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
Thank you so much. Jazakallah for all your efforts.
Okay. Inshallah.
Thank you so much.
Allah
available. Any question, I'll be available. Okay. Khuda Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Khuda Hafiz. Khuda Hafiz.
Khuda Hafiz. Khuda Hafiz. Khuda Hafiz.